Where is my...
Welcome, everybody. It's Don Giannetti at lightingessentials.com, lighting-essentials.com, and joining with me today to chat a little bit about what we can all do during this very extraordinary time is photographer Sid Caesar from Vermont. Am I right?
Oh, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yes. Greetings from New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. And Travis Commeau from...
Commeau. I'm in Nashville right now.
In Nashville. All right.
Sure, yeah.
How's it? Well, first of all, we'll check in with Travis because he's a new name for me. Travis, how's it going there in Nashville?
We got hit by a tornado like the week before we had our first case. So it's been the entire month of March has been just absolutely topsy-turvy. It's bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, that tornado came right into...
It cut about a half mile from my house. Neighborhood just down the street. We volunteered that for a couple of days, was just torn apart. It was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, and then days later, you got to shelter in place practically. So.
Wow. So you guys are sheltering in place there?
Yeah, my wife and I have been in for a while. You know.
Yep.
Not too bad.
Sid, there
Yeah.
in where you are you sheltering in place yet, or?
We just got the order yesterday. As of midnight tonight, any non-essential business has to completely shut down. So I'm at the studio today, and I'm just trying to pack up a couple of things to bring with me. Luckily, my studio is fairly close to my apartment, and there's nobody here. So if I needed to come here and just kind of get away, I can, because I'm not crossing the paths of anyone. Like, there's nobody here at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, as of tonight, every non-essential business, like every restaurant, is shut down right now. It's crazy. It's so crazy right now. It's nuts.
Wow. That's amazing. We have not gotten shelter in place orders here in Phoenix yet, but I do think they're coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were just told that 3 people at our local grocery store have come down with it. So that's a lot from one grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gave my little family orders, shelter in place or not, we're not going to the store.
Yeah.
It's over. So
You've got enough to last you for like a couple of weeks, or?
Well, I I'm tougher than my wife and my daughter, so I think I'll be fine. I just have to sleep with one eye open. That's it. I can do it. No, we're pretty good.
Hug your toilet paper while you sleep in it.
We never went out and bought anything in mass quantities, but we've always had 2 weeks worth of food and water.
Yeah.
For years we've had that.
And it's getting a little bit better now. Like, the main panic is done. Like, you had all the panic orders the last couple of weeks. Like, we just went to Trader Joe's a couple of hours ago, and you get there and they've got a line that comes outside the store and it goes around the corner, and everybody's got about 6 feet between them, and they're letting only certain number of people in there at a time. And the store was completely stocked, and we were able to get everything that we wanted. And it was a good flow. It was a little slower than normal, but they had it worked out so that you could get in and out and get everything you wanted and not have to worry about there not being anything, and not have to worry about there being, hordes of people all coughing all over each other and stuff like that. So it's good. It's nice. It's nice to be able to go in and buy stuff now and not be like 2 weeks ago. It was just like, I can't buy anything. Like,
What state are you in, Sid?
New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yeah, way up north.
Did you happen, Sid, to catch the, or Travis, either one of you guys happen to catch the Heather Elder talk yesterday?
No. What was that?
She spoke with ASMP.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was very good. I do not know if they have put that up yet.
It's up. I found it today.
Oh, yeah, it is up?
Yes, it is.
Oh, gosh.
It's up on ASMP. It's not up on Heather's.
It's on Heather's. Okay.
No. It's on ASMP, not Heather's.
Oh, it's on. Okay.
Yeah.
Could you drop that link in the chat?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks, Keith. For those of you who did not see it, I would recommend that you watch it. She has, she's like probably, she's one of the top reps in the world.
Mhm.
And her talent are some of the best in the business. And what she's saying is pretty important. And I thought I'd share a few things. That way, when you hear her say it, you know, you'll have it twice. She is saying to everyone, if you're not doing motion, you're going to be ignored.
Hmm.
So those of you who don't have anything to do for the next, I don't know, 3 weeks, maybe 4, could be 5, we don't know. But if you're not doing motion, then maybe this is a wake-up call. Got 3, 4, 5 uninterrupted weeks to get some motion. And she's distinctly used the term motion, not video. Because she's not talking about making movies, although some of her talent are directors as well. She's
Mhm.
talking motion. And that kind of fits in that little slot. We have photographer, director, and motion.
Huh.
If you're doing video, true video, where you have, you know, B-roll and audio and all that stuff, you don't want to put on your website, I do video and photography. You're a director now. You have to be. You can't be the guy behind the camera. If you're behind the camera, then you're doing motion, which is everything from stop motion to 15-second clips to, you know, gigantic B-rolls, vlogs, all kinds of things like that, but not video. When we think of a, you know, 15 or 18-minute, you know, story with interviews, et cetera, et cetera. And there is their link there in the chat window right at the bottom of your Zoom window.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing she was saying is this is a great time to help other people. I've been saying it from the beginning. Help other people. If you have stores in your neighborhood. Now, you may not be able to go out and shoot, and I want everybody to understand. I'm not saying, oh yeah, no, go down and do a shoot and risk your health and the health of the people and all that stuff. But start talking to people who you can help at some point. Maybe you get everything all lined up for a photo shoot for as soon as the restrictions are lifted, you can get this stuff done for them. And I don't really care if you charge for it or not.
Right.
This is a chance for everybody to kick in and do what they do to help some other people. So really, really opportune time. And the last thing I would say is if there's something you don't know, if you don't know Da Vinci right now, you've got to, you're not going to have a good excuse in May for not doing Da Vinci because you got nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm. Museums are doing a bunch of virtual tours and stuff too.
Virtual tours, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
How
It's a
about
big
virtual portfolio showings? Well, like not your book, but maybe a project that you're doing. You know, Zoom is tremendously easy to use, and you can put your images into a folder, whether it's PC or Mac, and then run a slideshow from the folder.
Okay.
And you could make, you could say, well, here's my shots of Zion National Park from 2 years ago. Here's my portfolio from there. Here's my portfolio from shooting food or, you know, one light source or whatever. But get people interested in what you're doing. I think there's a pony behind that pile there that we could do.
Yes. Yeah.
What are you currently doing, Sid?
I to not go crazy. So my wife right now is super crazy because she is the volunteer and engagement manager for United Way. So she is coordinating all the volunteers in our area with helping schools hand out lunches to students and stuff like that. So she's got about 9 schools. And it's just from the minute she gets up now until 5:30, it's just constant phone calls and emails. And she's trying to coordinate volunteers for all these places. And she's doing an amazing job. But our bedroom looks like a crisis management center right now because there's just everything is everywhere.
And it's a crisis management center.
Yeah. So to not bother her, I've been coming to the studio and like I could work on, you know, like promos and stuff. Like I've been working on getting some new promos and stuff, but I have a thing with puppets. I have a big thing with puppets. So I've been making these little puppet videos just to keep me busy, and I've been setting lights up, and you know, like I just did one with 2 puppets, and they're talking about this whole COVID-19 thing, and you know, wash your hands and don't touch your face and all that kind of stuff. So that's been kind of keeping me. It gives me a chance to record some video and download it and do primitive editing on iMovie and stuff like that. And it's pretty good, and I enjoy it. And it keeps my brain synapses kind of firing. So that's what I've been doing.
That's cool. Travis, what are you doing these days?
I work with a local. Sorry, I hate when my headphones actually they block out the rest of the sound. I work with one of the local magazines in town. So after the tornado hit, we went and did a lot of coverage on that sort of thing, and then just trying to get that up and running, figuring out distribution and the rest of it. But fortunately for me, I come from a retouching background, so I've actually been really busy, and I work with a couple like HarperCollins and Macmillan. So I've done a couple, like right before everything hit, I was able to get a couple shoots in. So I've been doing some design work for book covers and retouching for some stuff, but it's starting to dry up. So there's yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of planning for, honestly, I'm going to work on some of my portfolio stuff because I never get a chance to work on my own work.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, although I haven't had a chance to do it yet, so I can count myself slightly lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to have work in-house, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I can do a lot of remote stuff. The retouching stuff obviously is remote, but I know that's going to dry up a little bit as the people that shoot for it that I would be retouching aren't shooting at the moment. So I know there's going to be a lag time there. But again, I haven't had, count myself fortunate enough, knock on wood, I've been busy enough to not be able to work on my own work, like passion project stuff. So I think I'm going to try and take a little bit of time for that, honestly.
Yeah, this is a really great time to work on your portfolio.
Yeah.
You know, one photographer that I know of, I haven't spoken to him directly, but my another friend of mine is really good friends with him. He is reprocessing his entire portfolio.
Huh.
He's found a kind of a color palette that he likes, a color grade, and he's going to go back through the entire portfolio and redo the post on it, and then have the prints made as good as he can. Yeah. We're talking probably 250, 300 images, and he's just, but he's got his nose to the grind wheel. He's doing it 5 hours a day, that's a long time.
Yeah.
I was say it is a nice time to also not be such a slave to your computer, or like a slave to your desk as well, which is kind of nice, because like when you're under deadlines and you're working 8 to 15-hour days, now it's like, okay, cool, I don't have to feel terrible about slowing down a little bit and catching my breath, it's honestly been pretty nice.
I'm shooting a project around my house because it's springtime and the house looks pretty great. We've got a lot of cactus and succulents. So I'm shooting around the house, and I haven't had a chance to play with my new camera much. So now I'm getting to play with my new camera. I'll share it with you. I'll share my new camera with you. I wanted something that I could take with me, little point and shoot something. Unfortunately, that's not what I got.
You just got you got a D. Didn't you get one of those Nikons? Oh, there's that big beast. Look at that thing.
Look at that thing.
Does that have a harness that you strap to your back so that you can carry that thing around? Look at that thing.
No, I got a mule.
Is that thing bigger than an RZ?
Oh, yes.
Oh, God.
Probably half again. Or
Oh, that's a nice little point and shoot.
Yep. Fits right here in my pocket. It's really nice.
Where's the SD card go?
Yeah.
Hey, Don, I've got an extra Bogan 3047 sitting here if you want it.
It's got a
If it doesn't have dual card slots, then no deal, man. Like return it.
I know it's a
What
deal
kind of garbage
breaker.
are you buying? Jesus.
I wanted this my whole life. I wanted one of these. The last time I saw it was 2002. It was in Tempe Camera, and they had a body only for $3,000.
Hmm.
And I already have RBs, so it was like I didn't really need another 2.25 camera. Had a Hasselblad RB system,
Everybody says that.
but I got this just recently from Japan, and it said that it was in good condition. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't find a mark on this thing.
Yeah.
There's not even a mark from the take-up spool in the back. So I've got this mounted on a big tripod, and I'm going around shooting my succulents with it and having a blast, which I would not have had time to do without this sort of forced vacation. The other reason, of course, I got it is whenever you're out shooting somewhere, people will come over and think you're very, very professional. Because you've got a really big camera.
Right. Can I see the screen? How many megapixels does it have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody here shooting film? Sid, you're still shooting that Hasselblad, right?
When I can. Travis. Yeah, Travis is good. You got a Hasselblad, right?
I love shooting my Hassie. I got old Veronica, just a SQA I love, and just because I'm not afraid to hurt it a little bit more. The Veronica, I mean the Hasselblad, I'm kind of precious with, and an old speed graphic from, it's actually an army green from, I want to say it's a Navy Signal Corps, I think it was, from Korea, that I am absolutely in love with, and just processing the 4x5s is just a huge joy.
Are you using a tank for the 4x5s, or are you doing
Hayward.
open?
I have a, what is it called? There was a Kickstarter a while back that it's like a four.
Yeah, it's a little kind of curved thing.
Stearman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stearman Pro.
It's like yeah, there you go.
Hey,
I got
Trey,
one of those too.
I would assume if I'm going to Hayward, it's probably Nate going to AWS.
Boy, somebody.
When he gets there.
Yeah.
There we go.
This bad boy right here.
There it
I
is.
love that.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
I have not used mine. Is it good?
It's
I love
yeah, it is. It's good. It's pretty amazing that you can, like, it's so tiny, you know, like it's just the right amount for, I think it holds what, 4
sheets.
I think they make one now, or somebody else makes one that does like 12 and the rest of it, but I'm never
Yeah,
shooting.
yeah.
It's all passion project stuff, so I never need it, you know.
Yeah.
No, and I've been using Pyrex. You're just in the dark a long time.
Yeah.
You have to use
I
audio.
don't have a dark room, so I end up like, you know, you do not even converting a bathroom into it, basically.
That's it.
Certainly fly by night, but I've had incredibly good results from it, and God, the scans are beautiful.
Yep, in the bathroom's right in the middle of my house, so it has no exterior light at all. The wife and kid go to bed at 10 o'clock, and I go in there and stuff, towel under the door, and I've been in there for 20 minutes at a time, and it is pure black. I can't see my hand in front of my face.
Awesome.
So that gives me. I like to do the open, where I shuffle the negatives through a Pyrex dish. You know, then
Yep.
let them sit and then shuffle them again one more time. And I like to do stand developing. Have you done that?
No, what is that?
Stand developing, you use, you can use old developer. So you've developed, we get about 3 rolls out of a developer before we have to add time to it. So you got developer you've used 3 times. Put it away,
Yeah.
save it, and then you take it and put your negatives in for like 30 minutes. I'm thinking HC 110 here, HC 110 at 1 to 14, 30 minutes, and don't agitate.
Oh, so it's like slow cooking your
Yeah.
negatives.
Just slow cooking the
Okay.
negative.
Right.
You get just a little more patina and you get a little more shadow detail.
Huh.
So yeah, really, it's fun. Not enough time in the day to do everything I want to do.
Well, now you do. Now everybody does.
You keeping up on email, guys?
Me?
Everybody keeping up on email?
Is
'Cause I
anybody
think,
even getting emails at this point?
Just from brands telling you how they're dealing with COVID-19.
Exactly. Yeah.
AT&T told me that they're going to keep all the phones clean.
Is anybody getting any emails? Mine are completely. I got on Friday the 13th. It seemed like that was the major cutoff day for all businesses because that was the day where I got inundated with phone calls and emails being like, "Oh, that project we were going to do, no, we're not going to do it anymore. We're just, like." So that was it. Like I'm down to zero now. I've got nothing. Nothing's coming in. So that's a little.
Really?
It's a little nerve-wracking. Yeah.
One of my photographers is working on happy little photographs. Like he just did one called "The Tide is Turning," and he's a product shooter, so he shot a big bottle of Tide, at an angle. I don't know if he did a splash or not, but was there a splash on that? No, not on this one. He's got "The Tide is Turning." He's got one about washing your hands, but they're all very clever, well written, just little short things, and no selling. He's not doing any sale. Look at my portfolio here. They're just like, hey, we're all in this together. Here's something to make you smile.
Yeah.
Heather is doing all solutions-oriented emails for her photographers. So, how to get this done, how to get that done, 5 ways to do something. And I think that photographers should be thinking about some content. We're really only talking two emails max, right? So it's not like, this thing isn't going to go, until mid 2027. So we're not talking about much other than just a couple of emails, something next week and something 3 weeks after that. And we should be out of the woods, I would hope.
Cross your fingers.
Yeah. Crossing my fingers. But that kind of thing, whether you're going to be solutions oriented. I've got an email getting ready to go out to all my Project 52 and people at Lighting Essentials, and it's 10 books that I like that I'm not sure everybody's familiar with.
Good.
And only 2 of them are photography books.
Good.
So little things like that can't hurt.
Yeah.
Can't hurt at all.
Yeah, especially the virtual museums and stuff. Like a lot of people, I mean, there's so much visual content that you can, go through with museums and stuff like that. And even stuff that doesn't really relate to photography, but can relate to the overall sense of color and design and everything. Like it's good to have a well-rounded background that doesn't include just, past photography knowledge, but also, painting and water and just digest all this stuff so that your work can start to get influenced from, just art history in general. Like everything should just kind of be thrown into that pot and
creativity.
Start out.
Creativity.
Yeah.
It's all creative, and we don't want to. I don't want to take my finger off the pulse of that. Whether it's writing or painting or sculpture or whatever, it's all cool.
Yep.
So let's find out what's going on in Boston. We'll check in with Seshu. Seshu, what's happening in the Boston area, my friend?
Sorry, I wasn't expecting to talk today. I was just expected to listen.
I surprise everybody.
It's great to connect with all of you. I'm based in Hartford, just a little bit outside of Hartford, actually. So I was checking in Sid's website, and New Hampshire isn't too far away. So hopefully I'll make a road trip and come and see you.
Yeah.
What's happening here? Well, I just shared one of my my recent, I guess, call it an initiative of some sort to help local restaurants in any way I can. And hopefully that's going to, at some point down the road, mean I'm going to be working with more people, at least for my family photography business. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, at least I get my name out there. Not doing much photography. What?
And you help somebody.
Yeah. I think that's really the primary reason I'm doing it, because I feel like if the local economy starts to falter, photography is going to be the last thing people are going to start thinking about. People want to eat first, I think, more than take pictures of themselves. So that's my thinking, at least right now. So trying to help as many people as I can with whatever they're going through. So
that's excellent.
I started a Facebook group for local businesses as well. So, and have been populating that Facebook group with resources of whatever's coming out of the state of Connecticut. Things like relief, for self-employed folks, if that's even a possibility. Meeting with people really online is the only thing I can do right now. So a lot of it. So.
Right. Well, if nothing else transpires, at least we have been reminded once again that photography is a people business.
Yep.
It is people, whether we're shooting people or working with people. It's definitely human connection, because the only thing that's stopping us from working right now is that we're not supposed to be next to each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that kills art director photographer relationship. It kills, photographers going out into the world to shoot anything. They don't even want you doing that in San Francisco. They're telling you, even in San Francisco, saying, I think you can walk within a mile of your home, square mile of your home, and that's it. They don't want you out. Now, the press is allowed out. The press is considered, okay to go out and take pictures, but not us. So
I'm actually kind of so I work with a local magazine that we're not super journalistic. We don't necessarily cover things. We're like a bi-monthly thing, so we're not like on top of the newest news or whatever. But there's a Nat Geo photographer in Italy. I'm not sure exactly where. He's been going around, and his project, if you check it out, they're gorgeous photos. He arrives at a scene or like at a house for somebody, and like within sight of them takes out his lighting gear. I'm sure it's probably just like speed lights or something real small, brown colors or whatever, and disinfects them while they can see it, leaves them outside for the person to take into their space, guides them from outside on how to set it up, takes a portrait of them from outside their house, and then when it's all done, has them set it back outside, re-disinfects it, puts it back in, and goes. And granted, he's working for Nat Geo, but in Nashville, the magazine I'm working with is kind of where we want to be able to cover like to tell the story of it, because it's a really, one thing about especially East Nashville is that the community is incredibly tight. Like I've never known as many neighbors as I know now. Everybody knows everybody. It's a really weird small town sort of feel, especially this side of town. And we want to send. We're thinking of this one dude that's just kind of volunteering for it. I'd really rather not myself. Going around and basically having people step out onto the porch, because there's plenty of porches in the South, and shooting them kind of from the street in that sort of photojournalistic way that I think can be incredibly beautiful and is really valuable in terms of like looking back on this from years from now will be really interesting. So it's possible, but it's tough. I do recommend definitely checking out those Nat Geo posts, though. You'll know when you see them.
Is it in the Nat Geo blog?
It's on Instagram. I'm sure it's probably on other platforms.
Yeah. Nat Geo has that photo blog, right? Or is it gone? No, I think they still have it.
I only know it. Yeah, from the Instagram.
Really, really cool, awesome stuff. Posted like twice a week. Amazing stuff. That's a really interesting idea. What you're saying. Go ahead, Seshu.
I just posted a link to my friend Paul Giro. He's a Wisconsin photographer, and he's been working on this project just as was described. People inside their homes or their porches or whatever, and it's really, really stunning work. And I just interviewed him for my blog just yesterday. So I'm in the process of putting that interview together, and I'm happy to share that with you, and you can share it with whoever you want.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You know, something that Travis just said is something for us all to remember too. These things, the things that we're going through today, all of us on this call, we've never done this before. I mean, I'm 71. I've never done this before. I've lived through lots of downturns in the market and, you know, crap like that. And to those people who think I'm really old, no, I was not here during the Spanish flu. So I just recently sold my black powder flash. But anyway, those were days long by. But this is all uncharted territory. And hopefully we'll never do it again. If we as photographers squander this moment and don't somehow record something of our lives or our neighbors or our town or something, it is not coming back. Hopefully it's not coming back. And we will have missed a major moment as big as any war. I have allergies, so no one freak out. As big as any war.
Is it the coronavirus comp?
No, I don't have that. I've got the wind blows outside. The wind blows.
Pass it onto the internet now, but I think we're more than 6 feet away, so we should be okay.
Here, I'm going to cough onto my mouse. You guys are in trouble.
Just disinfect the screen before you do any more coughing.
I hope that that none of us, myself included, forget that this is a remarkable, interesting, once in a couple of lifetimes event. And there's something I think that we all should be able to do. I know Project 52, we're going to do a day. We're going to pick a day here. If my Project 52 members are on here, you don't know about this assignment, but we're going to pick a day and everybody's going to shoot something on that day. And I remember from back in the 80s, a Day in the Life series that Life magazine did, where they had all the photographers all over the world, and you had 24 hours to shoot, and you'd pick a spot and do it, and then they put all the pictures into this beautiful book, and it was one day in America, one day in Ireland, I think they did one day in the world, one day in Russia, but I think that we are going to kick in and do something like that as well.
That's awesome. That's good. It's just going to be a bunch of people wearing masks the whole time. It's going to be portraits of people in masks.
One thing, this is Jerry. Don, that brings up a project that I've been kind of working on, is that I've been doing a lot of like Ancestry.com and some things like that. And I think that it's an important time to, make sure that you're looking for family photos, and also to the extent that you can, use Zoom or whatever kind of remote access you have to interview people and to kind of talk to them about, just to kind of document for your own family or for the future generations, just what it's like to go through this. Because I think historically we do forget, like my grandfather went through the Spanish flu and he's long dead, but the anxieties he must have gone through probably mirror a lot of the anxieties that I'm experiencing myself. And sometimes to understand history and to really appreciate it, you have to put yourself in that place. And fortunately or unfortunately, we're in a time right now where we are experiencing a global pandemic. And like you said, this is probably going to at least get one paragraph in the history books in the future. So it doesn't hurt to kind of, be journaling your own experience, try to capture, your family, and being photographers or motion or whatever you can do. I think those are, it's not so much for profit or for anything that you would do but it's something to maybe even teach people how to document their own families. And anyway, it's just something that I've been thinking a lot about in the last month.
Well, your grandfather probably had less stress than we do because he did not have Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but he, it would be interesting to know what he if he was aware of it. You're right. I mean, because there is an awareness now that because we're so connected globally that we get, you know,
The information, by the time he would get information, would be 12
exactly.
or 16 hours old.
Well, think about it. There was no, in 1918, I'm not sure when commercial radio came on, but there might not even have been commercial radio. I don't know when RCA started. So
embarrassing. I don't know. I was
yeah,
thinking it was the early 20s. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
there had
RCA
to
or
be.
whatever. But so what you had was newspapers and the telegraph. And so you're right. The quickness of whether something was going to happen, but he went through Brice, France. I mean, you know, when you look at it, and I think, wow, he survived it. And but it would have been, you know, I just think that there's some comfort that future generations could get from us. And I know it's a little
Even
bit,
if it's just context, honestly, it's I think is really important.
and also for your individual families. I mean, I think it would be just enormously, even though young kids don't appreciate old photos now or pictures or, but if you had a photo with someone speaking about this time,
There's
you know, when someone,
there's another Nat Geo, and it's worse than the 1918, or hopefully worse than this flew by a long shot. There was Nat Geo also was interviewing the like few remaining Holocaust survivors, and what a couple of the photos they did, they look like still photos because they're almost a cinematograph, where it's just like a steady, straight on, real, just head and shoulders portrait. But then all of a sudden you'll see them blink, like it's a very steady shot. And they use they underlay that with audio of the interview that they did with someone. And if you guys have heard of StoryCorps, so you talk about taking pictures of your family and basically doing what you can do when you're stuck inside or stuck within a really kind of small circle, is StoryCorps of sit down and talk with family and get them to tell stories if you're in with them, or via Zoom or whatever, and accompanying that with photos. And it always feels really gimmicky for me, but I want to try and find a way to monetize this when we're out of this kind of storm. But if you guys ever shot with any of the, and I'm going to forget what the name of the camera is now, but the stereoscopic cameras, like the dual lens 35 mils, they're, you shoot on slide film. I usually just send mine off to darkroom.com and have them not cut the negatives. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass to find. In fact, I'd have to go do research again. It's been so long since I bought them. But basically, what you're making is the old school stereoscopic viewers.
Yeah, that's right.
You find from like,
put two slides out on the little thing there.
Yeah, so this takes on 35 mil film. It takes two kind of miniature little pictures. But I tell you, I've done a lot of portraits of. Yes, it does that, but it's like the modern equivalent of that. Yeah, I still want to find one of those for under like $100. I love those things. Anyway, I shoot with these, and shooting portraits specifically is, and fortunately I haven't had to deal with this yet, but I think after, like, I have my wife's father or my parents are coming up of age, you know, and when we lose them, the picture, like looking through the little slide viewer on that is entirely different emotionally and like even resolution wise than looking at it the same thing in digital or the same thing in 2 dimensions. It has this even though they're not even a full 35 mil frame, they're like, it's probably 2/3 of roughly. It's just the resolution just blows me out of the water every time I look at them. And I dread the day, but I also think I will probably really in a bittersweet way really appreciate the day when I am finally looking at pictures of people that have passed in that medium. It's amazing. So if you get a chance to find one of those things, I know they usually run from anywhere from 10 to $30 on eBay or whatever. Just haven't gotten around to getting another one for myself, but highly recommend that. Or like I shoot with a Mark III. I have an old Mark II body, Canon 5D, and I've set them up in the past to do basically the same thing digitally.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like you can do it on your phone using Google Glass or whatever. The resolution doesn't quite come up, but in terms of recording the moment for history, it's an interesting idea, especially if you're stuck in with your family and you want to just record them and practice. You know?
Yeah, just try new stuff too. Yeah, those stereoscopic cameras, I can't remember the name of the brand that I had. Unfortunately, I didn't shoot it nearly often enough.
They're a pain.
Yeah, well, Yeah. It also had that stupid rangefinder thing. It's not stupid. It's beautiful rangefinder thing, but my eyes never worked really well with
Yeah, you literally have to, on the one I have, I think
yellow
it's like
thing.
a David something. It's there's one image to frame, there's one tiny little window to frame the shot, and then over here a tiny little window to focus the shot.
Yeah.
And mine, one of the focus mirrors is slightly off, so I can still get it, but it never quite lines up right. I have to kind of like approximate it, you know, which is usually like, you know, I'm shooting at relatively large depth fields anyway, so, you know, horseshoes and hand grenades, but still, like, highly recommend it. Just make sure you, wherever you process your film, have them not cut the film, because you want to cut it yourself to fit in the whatever sliders you can get.
That's cool. That's a great tip. Thanks, man. It's a great tip. It'd be fun to find some of those cameras, guys.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check in with Stephanie. Stephanie is down near Wilcox, Arizona. Stephanie lives on a ranch. So how's social distancing working for you guys, since you're about 40 acres away from everybody else?
Yeah, no problems here.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What's happening in that area?
Have they locked down yet?
No, nope. Just telling everybody to do the social distancing, but no, it's been pretty quiet. Cochise County has been pretty quiet. So
Is there
nothing yet.
toilet paper in the stores down there?
Say again?
Is there toilet paper in the stores down there?
There was at Costco for a day, but otherwise not. There's a little bit here and there, but we stock up on everything at least for a month, you know, at a time. So for us, it's like this isn't even anything yet.
Well, I don't need anything. My daughter just forgot and didn't get any, and I need to get her a big roll for her family. But we were going to go out of town, and we found out I checked last night, and like even Globe and Miami and those stores, they're all out of it too.
Yeah.
You know, when you see somebody leaving Costco and they've got 12 36 packs on their pallet,
It's a little bit
That
ridiculous.
person needs to be smacked.
how much? I mean, did they done any math? Like, how many rolls of toilet paper do they go through in a week? Times how many weeks? I mean, how much do you need?
I don't think they're like, we were at our local Hannaford right when this first started to happen, and there was a woman that was about three people in front of me, and she had 2 giant carriages filled. Like I could just imagine her like running over to the aisle, like sticking her arms out and just pulling all of the toilet paper into those things, and then trying to buy them. And even the register person was just like, "Don't you think you have a little too much? Like maybe you should share it with some of the people that have yet to buy any." Like, you don't like stop hoarding. Like hoarding is a big thing. Like, don't hoard. Don't get what you need. Everything else will work out. But
Maybe this will bring a little bit of sense back to people who don't have any savings. You know, get savings, take a second job, drive Uber. I don't care. Get savings. You shouldn't be broke at the end of 1 week of not having a paycheck.
I completely agree. I hope it wakes a few people up. They need it.
Yeah, you know, get some money in the savings, emergency money. 6 months of living, you're probably gold. And the other thing is, get a stockpile. Have a stockpile. I'm not bragging. I'm not special at all. I just have a thing in the garage, and we've got, you know, chili and all kinds of stuff. And we use that chili and the stuff that's in it to cook. Then I replace the chili in the storeroom. And not that I ever expected anything like this, but I live in the middle of a very big desert. And, you know, if we have a big power outage here for 3 or 4 days, it can be really pretty catastrophic. We're not built for it. We're not built for it at all. So, hey, this was fun. I'd love to do this again if you guys are up for it. Sid?
absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd love to have have this again. Travis, would you be interested in doing it again?
Yeah, I'll come more prepared next time. I didn't know what to expect.
I don't generally expect anything. I just like to do. All right. It was great having you all here and chatting about stuff that matters to us. I'll throw it open to a quick forum for questions. If anyone has questions of Travis or Sid, anyone have anything? And
If anybody could be shooting anything like right now, which is the optimal time to do it, what would you want to be doing? Like what's in the back of your brain where you're just like, oh my God, I want to photograph that, and you haven't gotten a chance to do it? Just like right down the road, like what's everybody want to be shooting?
well, for me, it's the same answer for the last 12 years. Heidi Klum. No, I'd like to be on a road trip right now. It's beautiful weather, and I'd like to be on a road trip on my bike.
Yeah.
And
When was the last one you took? You just took one a little while ago, didn't you? Or you were supposed to take?
I have started it up and ridden it around the neighborhood 3 times since I got back in September. So I have not taken a long trip on the bike since September. And I'm not it's a really big motorcycle, so it's not something that I want to go tooling around the neighborhood on, you know.
Right.
Touring bike, but
well, you got to get a little scooter then. Right?
You don't sit.
I got a little 50cc scooter, and it's got my little business logo on the side, and I drive it up and down Main Street, my big fat butt on this little scooter, and it's awesome.
I still remember the look on my wife's face when she was in the garage and discovered a 3rd drum set.
You can be like, I got to run down to the store, and it's just big enough that it holds a gallon of milk.
Honey, I just
bag on the back with your camera on it.
You don't have to Triumph, so I don't have to use the big one. I'll save money on gas.
Little 50cc. You're just like, you can park it anywhere. You can throw it up on the sidewalk if you want. Stop, get something to eat.
Hey,
awesome.
Dawn, if you get a Vespa, I will paint it for you with photography stuff all over it.
Do it. Oh.
If I get a Vespa, you'll know it's not me. So
we'll even get you the special Vespa helmet, and I'll put some cameras on the side of that for you.
Everybody has their favorite types of ride, and I think those scooters are kind of a blast. I think if I was in
Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba. I'm going to go to Cuba. No, was it St. Martin's or those places? I'd be all over one of those little things.
Well, it's not that far over. It's just Cuba, St. Martin's.
Cuba. They make them in Arizona too. That's all I'm saying.
Huh? Cuba, guns everywhere. St. Martin's. Pretty girls in bikinis everywhere. There's a difference, you know?
There's true.
Oh.
Who was it that asked?
Who's next? Mike, what would you be shooting, sir?
Yeah, I was gonna actually take advantage of this and go back to doing my 8x10 churches with the empty parking lots on Sunday.
Oh.
Because I drove through a couple of churches the other day on Sunday morning. I'm getting breakfast, thinking, God damn it, the one time I leave the house without one of my bajillion cameras, and I'm going through a parking lot that's just dead at 10 a.m. I mean, the churches should have been full, you know?
I have been seeing some really incredible, like, just photographs of spaces with nobody present, you know, like, This is what we took last week. They're awesome. Like, there's just giant city shots of buildings, and it's freaky. It's so scary. There's nobody around. It's awesome stuff.
I got a decent one last Friday on my, on the little Fuji, of a bar district, and it was just dead. But it was so damn cold, I didn't even get the tripod out. I just, click and then jump back in the car. But this Friday is supposed to be a little warmer. I mean, tonight's supposed to be a little warmer, so I may actually take the big ass camera out there. And there's nobody running me over, so I just set up in the middle of the street. Who cares? You know?
Cool.
That's right.
Travis, what would you be doing if you?
Honestly, I should be shooting, but retouching. And speaking of nighttime sort of dead street shots. I love that sort of thing. It's a little, we're starting to bloom here now, so I'd rather have some greenery on the trees when I do that sort of thing. But the way street lights light up trees at night, that sort of weird green to gold shift. And if you're in New York City specifically, I used to look up and see like this dark navy sky with the yellow and green and the foliage from the street lights, and it would just blow my mind every time. And now would be like there's no one out there. You might as well.
I love the way streetlights cast those shadows of trees when the leaves are gone. Winter trees, tree bones, I call them. I just love that. That's cool. Sid, you're next, buddy. You're next. What would you be doing?
I don't know. Like I love taking pictures of toys and action figures. I just got a Spider-Man figure for Christmas, so I haven't had a chance to set him up and mess around with him. And then I keep getting. I'm obsessed with. I've got a little. It's not like a creepy thing, but I've got things for puppets. This is the newest guy right here. He's an '80s singer. He's got a little dangly earring. So I've been making videos with him. I don't know. Like it's kind of nice because with toy stuff, it's like product photography. You don't need a super huge spot for it, So it's like I can just come in and set up a little table and just go nuts. And I've got like smoke machines and color gels and everything. So I'll spend an afternoon and I'll smoke the studio up and I'll have these toys bouncing around and I've got gels bouncing off of them. And that's to me, like any chance I can get to just sit down and photograph a new toy. And it just kind of throws me in this whole thing. That's my zone. That's me going in the zone.
In the zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Jerry O'Connor. Jerry, what would you be doing if you could go out and do anything?
If I could do anything right now, it would probably, steal the idea from what's the guy in New York, People of New York, kind of just go around with a 50 millimeter and just take some portraits and maybe try to record what people are experiencing. If I was allowed to go and talk to people, but I live in downtown Phoenix, and so it's really heartbreaking to see all these small coffee shops and businesses that are, closed, and you just got to think that people work their lives to get it. And, I just, it's just devastating. So I think they'll come back, and we'll be hopeful, but it would be nice to document this moment, cause like you said before, I think it's a moment that's going to be a demarcation, that we'll remember, sort of like 9/11 or something.
Before and after.
Yep. You're absolutely right. So I think I would like to just, go around, and I like portraiture, and, just go out and try to make some nice portraits and try to get people's stories.
Excellent. How about Seshu? Probably should.
I was just getting started with a small body of work of environmental portraits, actually. So that's what I would want to do if I could go out. I've been working with a local publication who basically gives me just carte blanche in terms of whatever I wanted to do for their cover images and things like that. So, yeah, that's what I would do. I'd want to go back and do that. There might be a photo shoot on Monday that I'm going to do for them standing outside of a pizza joint that is helping people cope with the the shortage of food and things like that here. So that might happen. I'm still debating whether I want to commit to myself and going out and interacting with people, but we'll see.
How about Greg?
Well, I'd like to be able to get together with all my vintage car friends and shoot their scenes in their cars, and just kind of like the environmental portraiture, but that's what we like, our old cars, motorcycles, and tools, and garages and shops. Catch people in their environment that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Stephanie?
Yeah. Did you say me?
Yeah.
I think I'm just taking the opportunity to do more product photography, because I don't really, it's okay. It's not my favorite thing. And normally I just rush through it, but I've got like 3 boxes of soaps and lotions and stuff. So I thought, do some motion stuff with it, some little animated GIF things, and just take my time and play with it all instead of hurrying it up.
I will say that's one thing that's kept me going a little bit too. Is I work with a jeweler in town and doing a lot of product work, and really, like, aside from the fact that they're slower, they still need all the product shot, and there's so much of it. So if you need to expand into any markets, product is it sits still and it behaves for the focus. So.
And when
Yeah,
you're
it's
ready,
good to be diverse and do different things. So in stuff like this, you know, where all the editorial stuff kind of slowed down to nothing, at least, you know, there's other avenues.
the thing about product and still life is it never calls in sick or can't find it, or their auntie died so they can't come to the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So many
Yeah.
aunties.
Yeah, and I think I was talking to Don about just for free now, because of, you know, everybody's hurting, is just going down to our local town and putting up a flyer, you know, for the local artisans, craftsmen, you know, that are trying in a panic now to get their products online, that, you know, maybe just to help them out.
A good idea.
Yep.
And Keith Emmons.
I've got two things I'm working on. Well, I mean, but beefing up the portfolio. But playing around with white on white, just playing around with it the other day, that egg shot. It's kind of giving me some ideas of more things to play with white on white. So I'm stepping back and beginning to design out the shots, because that was just I got an egg, I got a white towel. Let's see what I can play with. So that is that. And the other thing is, a friend of mine has inherited a huge tea set made from a hand-painted tea set from occupied Japan.
Oh,
And
wow.
she would like to have that for her. It's beautiful. I mean, it is absolutely
Wow.
stunning. So she's going to bring that to me, and we're going to start photographing that. So.
That'd be great. Mark Lund, what are you up to? Mark?
I'm here. I had to unmute my phone. Well, I actually, during my lunch break today, I redid the retouching that we had talked about.
You just muted yourself, Mark.
Are you there?
Yeah.
All right, I got a phone call that bumped me. So I finished retouching from class the other day, and looking from one picture to the next, it was kind of hard to tell exactly what changed. And then, so I flipped it back and forth. So that prompted me, like, okay, I need to learn how to make GIFs. So in Photoshop today, I made just a simple 3-stop GIF with the different steps through the retouching. So I'm going to work on doing more of that, doing some of the stop motion and learn more with the GIFs. And then also I'm trying to add a lot to my food portfolio. So
How
learning
about Gary?
food.
That's great, Mark. That's great. And we got one more, Gary Beller. What's up, Gary? What if you could be doing whatever you want to do? What would it be?
Well, I'm actually pretty busy with work. A lot of our conventions and trainings are being changed to virtual, so we're scrambling to get together our live streaming and video chops and our gear. So pretty busy with that. In fact, I'm actually working as I'm listening to this. So.
Oh, so you were able to take your photo gig and turn it into producing the live streams?
Yes.
Ah, that's smart there, Gary. Pretty smart.
Yeah, we do a lot of, conventions and our trainings for our officers and whatnot, and we have to find a way to facilitate that. So we're ramping up for learning live streaming and online presentations. So
Well, we are problem solvers. Commercial photographers are problem solvers.
I've been busy training a lot of people on showing them how to do Zoom, and I spent a lot of last week making sure that people knew how to use remote access or real VPN or ways to work from home. So I'm keeping pretty busy.
I'm going to have to get VPN here pretty soon. Everybody, thanks so much for coming out and chatting. I mean, one of the things that is a casualty of these kinds of disasters or pandemics is social interaction. It takes a beating. And it's one thing to say, oh, we're all going to stay home and we'll work from home. But, you know, we miss people. We're people. So if we can offer a little bit of fun on Fridays, we'll do that for the duration. So everybody, I'll see you next week. Sid and Travis, I'll see you guys next week. And I'll send you a note with some ideas, maybe some topics, so we don't catch all three of us flat-footed next time.
Yeah.
All right.
That-
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thank you.
Have a good week, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, guys.